Namaskar. Welcome to Organiser this week. Today we bring you one of the most momentous editions in recent memory. From the historic rise of the Dharmdhwaj at Ayodhya to deep reflections on the Bhagavad Gita, from analysis on labor reforms to the long-standing threat of Maoist terror, this week's issue is a powerful tapestry of Bharat's spiritual, cultural, and national resurgence. And as always, we begin with the voice that frames the week's mood, the editorial. The editorial this week, written by editor Praful Ketkarji, sets the tone with a stirring reflection on the Dhwajarohan ceremony in Ayodhya. As the saffron Dharmdhwaj rose above the Ram Mandir on Vivah Panchami, it marked not merely the completion of a grand architectural project, but the culmination of a civilizational journey stretching across centuries marked by endurance, suppression, resistance, and rebirth. Ketkarji writes that the slow, majestic ascent of the saffron flag symbolized a reverence for Sri Ram, the embodiment of dharma, and affirmed the civilizational values that have guided Bharat across millennia. The very act of hoisting the flag was a tribute to an unbroken cultural resilience that survived waves of invasions, destruction, and ideological assaults. The editorial notes that the restoration of the temple is not the end of a movement, but the beginning of a new chapter, one anchored in Rajya, where spiritual and material well being coexist, where justice, equality, and duty flourish in harmony. Drawing on Dr. Rajendra Prasad's historic words during the reconstruction of Somnath, the editorial reminds us that restoring a temple is not merely building a structure, it is reviving a nation's moral and cultural self. The Dharmadhwaj, Ketkarji writes, is a guiding force for a collective effort towards decolonization, cultural renationalization, and the rediscovery of Bharatiya identity. As the flag fluttered high above Ayodhya, it signaled a renewed commitment to nurturing the roots of Dharma and dispelling the forces of Adharma. With this powerful editorial lens, the issue turns to the week's most defining story, the return of Ram Rajya in Ayodhya. The cover story, titled Revival of Ram Rajya, takes us to Ayodhya on November 25, 2025, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and RSS Sarsang Chalak Dr. Mohan Bhagwat hoisted the magnificent saffron Dharmdhwaj atop the 161-foot shikhar of the Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir. It was a moment soaked in emotion, tears of devotion, fulfillment of centuries-old longing, and the healing of historical wounds that spanned 5 centuries. The article describes how the flag, embroidered with the sacred symbols of Om, the sun, and the Kovidar tree, became a civilizational proclamation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his address, said that this is the flag of the rejuvenation of Bharati civilization, representing struggle, sacrifice, and the timeless idols of Ram Rajya. He spoke of the need to shed the slave mentality and strengthen the foundations of Bharat for the coming 1,000 years. Dr. Mohan Bhagwat's speech was equally poignant. He invoked the memories of countless sons, Karyakartas and devotees from Ashok Singhal to Mahant Ramchandra Das Paramhans, whose sacrifices kept the flame alive through decades of struggle. He said that the Dhwaj of Ram Rajya, which once spread peace across the world, has risen again, and its symbolism should inspire every individual to elevate their inner resolve and live by Dharma. Historian Professor Hiraman Triwari contributes an illuminating essay that places the Dharmadhwaj in the larger framework of sovereignty, kingship, and civilizational continuity. While Pramod Majumdar connects the event to the RSS centenary celebrations, noting how the milestone aligns with the completion of a national resolve, meanwhile, columnist Pranay Kumar expands on the theme of decolonization, arguing that the restoration of Ayodhya must be accompanied by a deeper intellectual liberation from Macaulay's educational and cultural framework. Together, these writings turn the Dhwajarohan into more than an event, they transform it into a civilizational marker, a turning point in Bharat's contemporary journey. From Ayodhya, we move to Lucknow, where RSS Sarsang Chalak Dr. Mohan Bhagwat ji addressed the Divya Gita Prerna Utsav. His central message was simple yet transformative. The Bhagavad Gita must not be confined to reading. It must become a discipline of living. He urged people to internalize the wisdom of the Gita slowly and steadily, suggesting that studying just 2 verses a day and reflecting on them could turn one's life into a living embodiment of the Gita within a year. Drawing parallels to Arjun's confusion on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Dr. Bhagwat explained how modern society too suffers from fear, stress, restlessness, and imbalance despite its material advancements. Only the Gita, he said, offers the clarity and equanimity needed to navigate such complexities. The report captures the essence of Gita Jayanti as not merely a ritual commemoration but a spiritual call for personal transformation and national alignment with dharmic values. This week's issue carries a deeply disturbing yet crucial report exposing the ruthless strategies employed by Maoist extremists across central India. The article details how Maoists rely on manipulation and fear to maintain control over vulnerable tribal populations, enforcing forced recruitment, eliminating dissenters, and opposing development initiatives that could empower locals. The piece underscores how Maoist ideology has consistently positioned itself against roads, schools, health centers, and welfare schemes because empowerment threatens their grip. It vividly portrays the cruelty inflicted upon innocent families, revealing how tribals whom the Maoists claim to protect are in fact their biggest victims. The report serves as a grim reminder of the need to recognize, confront, and dismantle the ideological and violent machinery that fuels red terror in Bharat. In a significant economic reform story, the organizer analyzes the new Labour Codes 2025, describing them as a transformative step towards improving the dignity, rights, and security of workers across the country. The article explains how the reforms streamline regulatory frameworks, simplify compliance for industries, and expand social security benefits to unorganized workers. It argues that the new codes aim to create a synergy between labor welfare and industrial growth, ensuring that development is both inclusive and future ready. A powerful section of the week's edition honors the 350th martyrdom anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. The report revisits his courageous defense of dharma and human freedom during Aurangzeb's oppressive reign. Through haunting descriptions of the brutal torture of Bhai Mati Das, Bhai Dayal, and Bhai Sati Das, and the Guru's unwavering refusal to surrender to forced conversion, the article brings alive one of the most important chapters of Bharatiya history. Prime Minister Modi's tribute, calling the Guru's sacrifice a guiding force for Bharat's character and spiritual ethos, adds emotional resonance to the narrative. This section stands as a reminder of the civilizational legacy of resistance to tyranny and the eternal value of dharma. The magazine also features a serene and thought provoking article exploring how temples across Bharat were designed not merely as spiritual centers but as ecological sanctuaries. The story highlights how ancient temple architects aligned structures with cosmic movements, water systems, natural light, sacred groves, and acoustic patterns, creating environments where nature itself participates in the worship experience. It's a gentle poetic reminder that ecological harmony has always been integral to Sanatan civilization. Finally, the issue carries a heartfelt tribute to Dharmendra, one of Indian cinema's most beloved icons. Known as the He-Man of Bollywood, Dharmendra combines strength with sensitivity, elegance with rustic charm. The obituary traces his remarkable journey from a small Punjabi village to national stardom, revisiting classics like Sholay, Anupama, and Phool Aur Patthar. His passing remarks the end of an era, and the tribute captures both the man and the legend with warmth and nostalgia. That brings us to the end of this week's edition of Organizer This Week. From the rise of Dharmdhwaj to the eternal wisdom of the Gita, from the struggle against Maoist violence to the celebration of labor reforms, this issue reflects a nation that is remembering its roots, reclaiming its identity, and confidently stepping into its future. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments which story resonated the most with you. Until next week, this is Organizer Next Week. Namaskar.